Just be careful. Thank you. May I request Dilip Bhai to please have his deliberation? Yes, yes, please.
Good afternoon. Rachna ji said that Calcutta is a lovely city. I have found Calcutta always as a city of love. And it is that love that drives people from all over the world to Calcutta whenever they get the smallest of the opportunity. So thank you, Mamta, for inviting me. Thanks all the colleagues on the dais to be part of this conference. Social stock exchange. Our forefathers had taught us that when you do philanthropy, ensure that you do it with right hand and your left hand doesn't know. Is that correct? Yes. And in social stock exchange, we bring complete transparency to philanthropy. What a journey of mind. The question is it something which is contrary to our culture? Is it something that we are not comfortable with? Or is it something which is very much necessary? This is a very fundamental question. And in that, let's see what our Hon'ble Finance Minister said in the budget speech when she introduced this concept. So she said, in para 34 of her speech, that it is time to take our capital market closer to the masses and meet various social welfare objectives related to inclusive growth and financial inclusion. I propose to initiate steps towards creating an electronic fund-raising platform, a social stock exchange. Under the regulatory ambit of SEBI for listing social enterprises and voluntary organizations working for realization of social welfare objectives so that they can raise social capital as equity, debt, or as units like mutual fund. So this explains this apparent contradiction that the civilization has shifted from the days where Mr. S.M. Gupta would possibly call me and say that, no, I want you in Calcutta, to the days where the husband and wife talk to each other through WhatsApp. Now, this is a big technological transformation has come, and that's why Finance Minister is very aptly captured. That's the electronic medium that she is proposing, by which today, they are not the days where somebody would like to, maybe come to the organization, examine it, see it, participate. They want to see how good it is. If it is good, they would want to just transfer from their mobile any contribution. The youngsters also are philanthropic. But the entire approach has changed. So this social stock exchange is basically a modern mode of philanthropy that is instituted. And possibly for youngsters, this is very important, is one aspect. The second aspect, I have had the privilege and fortune to assist, few of such organizations. And whenever these philanthropic organizations, do any work, generally what happens, the concept is that it is a philanthropic organization, तो हम सबको मिलकर करना है, and the entire environment, the backdrop, the front thinking, everything is philanthropy. So कहीं भी कुछ भी चीज़ में खर्चा नहीं होना चाहिए. So ऑडिटर होगा, पैसा नहीं लो या कुछ भी कम पैसा लो. टैक्स एडवाइज़र होगा, फ्री में एडवाइस दो. treasurer hoga, honorary treasurer hoga. Very good. But is that right? If the organization has to really meet a social cause, that organization also needs to be very professional. So, some large organizations where we were asked to do audit, and we were told that please don't charge. I said that would be very damaging to you. We would like to charge the audit fee at arm's length, and you please pay it. But equivalent amount I would pay from my personal pocket to you back. But to the auditor, please pay professionally. Underpayment to any professional would make your organization unprofessional, because you will not get the right value. And don't even ask the person to give it back. Let him give it back if he wants to, because that is philanthropy. But do not take philanthropy to a level that the organization becomes unprofessional, the right social objective is not achieved, and the growth which is desired of the organization doesn't happen. It is the dire need of our country that the social enterprises become professional. And I have seen left, right and center of largest organization, very good, but when it comes to being professional, there is a reservation. No, we can't spend this much, we can't do this. We must do this. Philanthropy and profession are two separate things. Social stock exchange, when it proposes to bring philanthropy, actually it is injecting professionalism also in this social enterprises. This is a very, very positive aspect of this new concept that has come down, that today you need to register. Rachna ji just spoke before me. She spoke so well. But are stock exchanges liberal, or they are very rigid on compliances? They are super rigid on compliances, and that's what they should be. Okay. Now these organizations, when they register, they would have to ensure all disclosure norms, all transparency. And that would bring huge amount of professionalism in their entire approach. So that is something which is extremely important. I think that would really transform the way in which they function, the way in which they deliver, the way in which they create the social impact. And I think this is one aspect which is beyond maybe all rules and regulations, but this is the on-ground reality, the necessity. A number of organizations which have gone into this, they have really grown unbelievably. One of the leading again organizations in the philanthropy or the human cause for the humanitarian, they appointed a big four to find out, identify how to plan succession in the organization. Now I said this is so commendable, because every such organization, have a mentor. The entire organization centers around that mentor. Suddenly that person is no more. All of us are mortal. Okay. And the organization, the downfall of the organization starts. While the mentor is at the peak of his performance, pinnacle of his glory, if a successor is identified and he or she is developed along with the mentor, the organization doesn't suffer. Now they engaged a big four, paid them absolutely arm's length professional fees, underwent the process the way we appoint a CEO or anybody. They went through the process. Internal people evaluated, external people evaluated, then few of them shortlisted. They were seen by the governing board. Then finally, decision taken, identified, announced. Now, this is necessary for a corporate? Yes. Is it necessary also for a social enterprise? Of course, yes. Is it being done? Mostly no. Once we are in the ambit of transparency, be it a social stock exchange or any mode, that really brings a big impact. And I think this is a very, very good initiative that has happened. As we have been told that India is not the first country. We had this from 2003 in countries like Brazil, Portugal, South Africa, Jamaica, UK, Canada, Singapore. However, the global experience on the social stock exchange is quite disappointing. Out of all, only 3 survived, others have been closed down. And in 3 also, if you see the statistics, the fundraising has not been encouraging at all. How this helps India, or how does this, be a learning point for India? I would think that this is a very right initiative because India thinks differently. We have been possibly the first country to mandate CSR, corporate social responsibility for every corporate, and it is really working so well. Social stock exchange, in an Indian way, if it is done, as I said, by which not only just the basic norms of registration or listing, but if this mechanism is something which is owned up by all of us, success or failure depends on how the masses accept or goes away from the concept. If this is something which is accepted by all of us, that's very important. It starts with the top 2% and then it goes to the balance 98%. If this is accepted, we understand the real advantage of it. Okay. In that case, this is going to completely transform the entire initiative of all social enterprises for the social impact, be it a NPO or a for-profit social enterprise. The ultimate objective is the social impact is to be created. And today we have a situation where in our country, despite so much of growth happening, so much of good things happening, we have definitely a very big concern about the divide between the haves and have-nots, the gap which still exists. And to fill this gap, this social impact is most important. And to ensure that every money which is coming in this field of the initiative for creating social impact is rightly invested and it gives the right social return. Professionalism, transparency, compliance, regulations, governance are extremely important. And the social stock exchange, and we also heard about social audit. I am not going into the nitty-gritties of provisions we already heard, so to avoid duplication, but they are going to bring this depth, this power and this efficiency in our social enterprises. And India is a country where philanthropy is a part of our religion, it's a part of our culture, it's a part of our intent, our desire. All of us want to, in our own way, want to give back. And as I said, our learning has been that give it back even without anybody else knowing. So don't expect anything in return. Expect a social return that the society is getting it back. Okay. Now what is important is that that money should not be wasted. It should come back as a right social return. And these norms, when they are actually implemented, we have right now only few organizations we have registered, but when they have implemented, and if we all own it up, I have no doubt that it would be successful. I have no doubt that we would become an example for the whole world. 15 years back, when we all were going overseas, and we used to say we are from India, they will say, oh, you are from India. And today when we go overseas and we say we are from India, they say, oh, you are from India? That's the difference, thanks to so many things which is happening. And this would be one more initiative, I would say, as we do it properly, will be another jewel, in our crown. So I wish all the best to this great initiative, and all the best to MCCI also for organizing this and taking it forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, Dilip bhai, so much. As he rightly pointed out, that it is in our culture, it is in our DNA, it is in our thoughts to give and really give it away. When we do it, the left hand should not know that the right hand has given. I think we've learnt it in our way of upbringing also. I'm sure this social stock exchange will grow, and as Rachna ma'am was pointing out that in some of the countries, I think Rupanjana was saying that in some of the countries it has closed. But I'm sure in our country it will not. I remember in one of the board meeting, a very big corporate house said that ये 2% क्या, हम तो उससे बहुत ज़्यादा देना चाहते हैं. ये 2% आने के लोग तो 50-60% तक अपने इनकम की दे देते हैं, बोलते हैं ये हमारा है ही नहीं, तो इसे ले जाना ही शायद पाप होगा. इस तरह की सोच हमारे देश में है, अब्रॉड भी है, हम सब जगह देखते हैं. इंसान कहा जाता है, इंसान इज़ अ सोशल एनिमल, एंड एवरीवेयर दे थिंक अलाइक. Sometimes we take pride in only what India is doing or what we are doing, but I'm sure human beings, be it greed or be it the power of giving, everywhere it is actually the same. So we really look forward for the country to mature this concept, and it will stay forever, I'm sure. I'll request Mr. Desai to inaugurate one of the literature that Merchants Chamber of Commerce and Industry has developed on the social stock exchange particularly and on social audit. So who better person than him?